Episode 4, Part 3. In this section, we're just gonna sample the backing track and the hi hat so that we can add that to another track on the sequences that we made in Part 2. And at that point, we'll have completely rebuilt the song from scratch in the MPC itself and then really go into customizing it further. So, first thing I'm gonna do is load up the program that we saved last time. And sequence 2 was the one that we had really worked on. Sequence 1, I should say, was the one that didn't have any timing correct and we didn't work on the note placement. So I'm going to bring it over to sequence 2. That's where we're going to want to be working. And on this one, we're going to wind up adding a second track for the background track. So first thing I want to do is give track 1 a descriptive name. And this one's just triggering samples. So I'm going to just call it samples. Oops. So you can see our track has the name samples now. So I'm going to go over to track 2 and I'm going to just rename this one background preemptively because this is where we're going to save the background sequence. So I'm going to call this one background. Close. So now if we hit the track up or down button, which you have up here, that's what the TR plus and minus is, you can see we're going from samples to background. It just gives you more of a descriptive piece there. So again, the tracks are all a part of the sequence. So we've got the 64 tracks part of the sequence. They will all play together essentially, but it helps you divide everything out. So I'm going to go record the hi-hat from melodics and then also the background beat itself. And then we're going to place those in here and we'll have a 2-track recreation of the melodic song. So let's go to... So to get the background track, like what you want to end up doing is you go to the playground section here and turn down your notes in the metronome so it's just having background track. And here I'll play a real quick clip. So it's just gonna have this hi-hat repeated on every beat up until we get to about this section here. So we don't necessarily have to record all of these hi-hats here, but we are going to want to capture this hi-hat, and then we're also going to want to capture the other part of the beat. So I'm going to let it get a little bit further along. So then, alright, I probably should have caught that sooner actually. Here, I'll just record the whole thing. But the MPC, it'll only hold if you've got the RAM upgrade, 11.5 minutes of samples in memory at a time. So you want to pay attention to how much memory you're using. But what I'm going to do is just do a full recording of this entire background track, and then I'll break it into smaller samples just to save on memory. But so let me go to mode, record, hit record. And you can see it's recording now, so I'm going to end up cutting almost all these hi-hat hits out, so it's going to be quite a bit of an excessive amount of recording, but we don't have to keep it stored in our program or our sequence really, so it doesn't really matter necessarily, but you do want to be mindful of how much sample time you have basically. You'll notice too that that hi-hat hit, it's not like it's really varying. It's just the same hit over and over until you get to this part. Okay, go ahead, hit stop. And I'm going to rename this, I'll just call it something like BG full. Because I know I'm not going to be using that whole sample for the most part. So I'll name it full so I know that's the one I'm cutting out of. I'm going to hit keep. And so we're done with melodics there. So I'm going to come over and go to mode, trim, and right off the bat, let's see. So you can see I need to increase the waveform to really see all those hits, but you could tell that you're just getting the repetitive hits over there, and then every one of these is probably going to be basically the same pattern of that background beat, but we'll see if that's actually true. But I'll probably end up just slicing out one of these sections or maybe two of them and repeating it. So actually I'm also gonna normalize this track. I didn't pay as much attention as I probably should have to levels when I was sampling it. I think that'll help us out a little bit. Okay. So zooming in, you can see those hits better for sure. Mode trim. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture I'm going to zoom in to a small section and just pick out like one of these to chop out. So I'm going to do and it doesn't, they're all exactly the same. It doesn't seem to matter at all which one I get. So I'm going to zoom way in. In fact, I'll just pick this one at random. So I'm increasing the waveform there and zooming in so that I make sure I get the whole track and I don't get it too early or too late. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now I'm going to go to move the end piece. I'm going to go to edit. And I'm going to go to extract. And it's going to make a whole new sample with that one. And I'm going to rename that sample. I'll name that hi-hat. Do it. And now I'm going to zoom. Let's see. So it actually looks like I got more than I wanted to there. I must have had the selection expanded more than I wanted. So we've just got a number of hi-hat hits, but that's okay. I will just chop it once more and just make sure I get one. And now that we got a smaller sample we're working with, it's kind of easier to see what you're doing too, so that can be nice. So I'm going to do the same thing, edit, extract, and I'm actually going to make this one hi-hat 1, and I'm going to rename this one hi-hats, just so I know that that's the sample where it's got multiple hi-hats captured. Which I'm probably not even going to be doing anything with, to be honest, but so we've got hi-hat 1 now. And I'm going to trim some of that end off of it still, I think. Gonna go about it like this. I'm gonna hit edit. Delete, and it's gonna delete what's in the selection. You gotta watch out. If you go to discard, it's what's outside of the selection. So right now I have the part I want to delete selected. So I'm going to go to delete and hit overwrite. Okay, so we got the hi-hat sample. Now I got to go and come back over to our background full sample, and probably need to just trim out a lot of this beginning, to be honest, just to make it a little easier to work with the stuff at the end there. Okay, so I'm getting pretty close to where I want. I'm gonna hit edit, and now I'm gonna go to discard because I've got the part selected that I want to work with mostly. So I'm gonna hit do it. So I want to get rid of some of that first part there and get rid of those lone lone hi-hats there at the beginning. So I'm going to hit edit. I got to move it over to delete because I want to get rid of what I have selected. I'm going to overwrite. So now right from the beginning we've got that background rhythm going. And I got to figure out if I want to make this smaller or just keep the whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to just keep the whole thing for right now. I might chop it up into smaller loops and samples later when we start messing with it. But I think for right now, just with the hi-hat and this, we can at least recreate the same beat that was in melodics. So that's what I'm going to go for. So we got to go back and put the hi-hat on each beat. And then towards the end of the track, put in this one. So let me go to main. We're on track 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign those two to 2 different pads. So I'm going to go to mode, program, and we've already got I'm going to keep it on the same program. So we've got the 8 pads in use already. So I'm going to hit pad 9, and I'm going to change that to be the single hi-hat. So that's hi-hat 1. So we got that, and then I'm going to I'll put it up on pad 16 in case I end up wanting to put some other actual individual hits in, but put BG full on pad 16. Whoops, I had that on pad 10, didn't I? Yep. So let me move that to 16. Okay, so now 16's got that. Alright, so, and I might even end up moving that to a different program later, but I'm just going to keep moving along. And so I want to get the hi-hats in here on each beat. I'm going to go to pad, grid view, and what you can do here is hit the overdub button, and you'll just start putting in tracks in the grid. So I'm going to hit overdub. I can just do this one by one. There's other ways of doing it as well, but I just kind of want to show you this overdub mode. So let me just go back and hit play from the start here now, just to... Yeah, that was definitely too quick. So, let's see. That seems more like it. I'm gonna do this whole. Here we go. Hit copy. And I'm just gonna kind of take that sequence and hit paste here. And you can see it's just hitting on each beat still, so I'm gonna hit paste a few times and just kind of, whoops. That's what I get for pasting the wrong spot, it looks like. 1, 2, 3. Making a mess of things here. There's faster ways of doing this, but I'm just going to kind of demonstrate the overdub in Grid Edit here right now. And before I get too far, I'm going to just hit play start. Alright, so I'm going to just hit overdub again and just keep dropping those in. I think it is going to need a little more finessing than that, but we're getting there. So I think I'm going to go to about bar 20, and then I think it'll be about time to drop in the other background track with the actual more complete beat. This is definitely like literally the slowest way to achieve this, but I just want to again show the grid editing and overdubbing. Okay. I'm gonna just try to drop in that one there, and I'm gonna hit play start and just see how things sound now. Okay, so I definitely got a little bit of tweaking to do here, but I think you probably see how it's starting to get closer to what we had there in melodics. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the first few bars worth of these, because the way the first few samples pick up, you almost hear some of the hi-hats, and I think having both of these playing at this... Oh shoot, I meant to go back further. Crap. Okay. I thought I was on the first bar there. I was not. So I want to get rid of... So the reason I clean those up at the beginning is because some of those first couple samples have the hi-hats kind of in the background, and it's just causing a little bit of dissonance there. So, but I didn't mean to delete these ones initially. I thought I was on track 3, or bar 3, not 13 when I started doing these ones here. So I'm trying to put these back now. And I think, really, this background, for one, I need to make it louder. It was a little too quiet in the background. But I think I might need to move it forward some. But I'm going to just go hit play from here and try to get a better feel for that. So I was just keeping an eye out for when the main track ended, which was around 31.5 bars, and then background track kept going to 36. So it tells me I need to move that background hit back by like 5 or so bars. So it's coming in here at 20, so I'm going to take it all the way back to 15 and just see how that sounds. And I'm going to delete these ones as well. Again, this is the slow way of going about this, but I kind of want to just focusing on editing in grid mode right now, so. So I'm going to hit overdub, pop that one in here. And one thing I'm going to do is go to mode, step edit. Just looking for any outliers here, but they all seem to be hitting on the beat, which is what I want. Okay, so it's getting closer. It's definitely getting closer. I still need to... I need to make both track... I'm in the mixer. Well, do I even want to get into that right now? Probably not. So what I really need to do still now is potentially clean up the beginning a little bit here and also make the background track a little more pronounced. But I think I'll do that in the next part. We're already at about a half hour here. But at this point, we do have the hi-hats in. We do have the backing track in. It just needs a little bit of tweaking still. So let me go to... One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to normalize this track. So I'm not sure how much that's really going to wind up helping in this case, but it's a start at least. And I'm going to go now back to main. I'm just going to play it from beginning one last time. I'll be... I'm going to be keeping an eye on track 2 to see if I want to adjust where my hi-hats come in at all yet. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the background track to see if I want to make some more adjustments on it still after the normalizing. And if I do, I'm going to wait for the next part for that, but I'm just going to hit play one more time and listen to it through and decide what else it needs for the next. So I'm happy with where the hi-hats came in the beginning. The background track still needs some work as far as it's 2 in the background right now. Like the hi-hats themselves are clear, and then when you move to the part where it's the full backing track, they just become less clear. So I got to work that out still, but otherwise it seems pretty close to the melodics one. So I'm gonna save the project again, go into mode, save, come over to entire memory, do it, replace. So now we got two tracks, the hi-hats in the background and then the samples on track one. I'm pretty happy with how all those are. So in the next part, we'll just fix that backing track. I might end up resampling that. I might just fix it in the MPC itself. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna definitely get that resolved, and then we can start just, like, actually rearranging the track and trying to do something new with it. So that's it for part 3 of episode 4. Thanks for watching.